I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda for this workshop.
So moved.
There's a motion by Mr. Lawrence and a second by Mr. Guines. Any discussion? All in favor? That's a 5-0 vote. The record reflect Mr. Deming and Ms. Newman are not present. Thank you. That brings us to the
bigger font. Turn it to
mayor's report.
Yeah, mayor's report. Well, no report. No report.
Excellent report, Mayor. That brings us to the council report. Mr. Lawrence?
Yeah, I'd like to ask the mayor one thing. Y'all do know where the roundabout is, don't you? With the 2 piles of trash for the 7th week? Who exactly I got to call to get that picked up? It's not working.
We'll call Billy, right? We'll go take a look at it.
I mean, 7 weeks. The roundabout. You talking about making it
Okay,
pretty?
I got the message. We'll go take and do it.
It's about time.
You know Billy Ray's number? Did you call him
I'm
too?
trying to pick it up.
All right. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Anything else,
Welcome.
Mr. Lawrence? Mr. Guines?
None.
Nothing. Mr. Barrett?
The weather is beautiful today.
Right now.
A report. I wish it'd been like this the whole summer. Jeez, that's it.
It would be like this for the rest of today.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing. That brings us to
One quick thing.
Yeah,
Quick thing.
Mr. Guines.
I don't know if you guys know Milton Harris, supervisor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Milton, supervisor over there. He passed away this morning, so I just wanted to make a note of that and keep the family in the prayers.
Wow.
Thank you, Mr. Guines. All right, that brings us to the public agenda. Are there any comments? There's nobody here from the public. So there being no comments, we'll move to the policy agenda. The subject matter of this meeting is it's a workshop to discuss the fiscal year 2021 and 2022 budget, next year's budget. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. And I know this is small format. Blame this on me, not Diana. The numbers are Diana's. The format is mine. I kind of made a decision to go from high to low. That's how I look at normally the business before us every week. So the numbers can be presented in any way you would feel comfortable. But this is one page tells it all from high to low. And there's some history. Diana has a history if we want to look at, from 18 to 19, 19 to 20, 20 to 21. But since 2020 was 2020, and 21 is a bit more comparison. 2019 to 2021 may be a better comparison. So if you have any questions, we'll be able to do that. But these numbers reflect, I think, a recovery that's on the way. And the projections that we look to finish this year and next year, Diana's been tremendous in trying to guesstimate and look at hard numbers comparison to specifically 19. But as you can see, the first 15 or so line items kind of tells the tale for the for what we're going to be facing in 21, 22. So with that in mind, we're here to answer questions.
This sheet like here, where'd y'all get them from?
You mean where we get it
Like
from?
I had one of those.
They were in our box.
Well, I ain't been downstairs.
Oh, okay.
I had to come upstairs.
Yeah.
So they have to go downstairs and get one.
You want me to go get it? I'll go get it.
Yeah.
You want mine?
I just want to look at it, Look it on the phone.
Look at it right here.
Yeah, I'll go get it.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Under the column titled Fiscal Year 2022 Projected Revenue.
Right.
And then right to the right of that, you see the over or under. And how is that over or under calculated? What columns are you comparing?
You're comparing FY 21 revised budget to what we're projecting as the next year's budget.
So those are the two shaded columns.
The shaded columns will give you that plug, which is over or under FY 2021 revised. And the percentage next to it is that percentage. So if you look at the first line item, the big line item, we had budgeted $17.555 million. We're projecting to receive by the end of this year $20.374 million. So looking at month by month and situation by situation as far as things, we figured that Diana put together $20.2 million which is 2.666 over the 2021 budget, which is 15% higher. You with me?
I got my sheet. I was trying to figure out what are you talking about now?
The first line, the first line item is of course, the biggest gaming number, the biggest number in our budget, revenue-wise, the very first.
First line, you talking about the gaming?
Yeah, gaming revenue.
All right.
That's what we receive, and that pretty much drives a lot of things. In last year, October 1, we had projected, well, there's a little bit of revision, $17.555 million. We feel like by the end of, when September comes along, we will have collected 20.222.
Can I ask a question about that? He's looking at it. On our gaming revenue, if we just go off of traditionally what we bring in, which we haven't got June's numbers yet, right? Or we
Yeah,
have?
we have,
Okay.
we have.
So July, August, September, we have
There's
left.
2 more months of gaming hits.
So we have 3 left.
Two.
We haven't got July's yet, have we?
No, we haven't gotten.
September, so we only got 2. Okay, I got it.
Total
September
collected
count,
months.
okay. So 2 more. So July and August, traditionally, what would we, if we just go off of the numbers that we, in the past, if we take COVID out, what does that put us at? That puts us at about 20 million?
That's the
And
next
so
column.
that's
That's the
like
middle
100
column right there.
Okay, gotcha. And so that's like 115, 120% of what we projected? Is that correct? I mean, I can do it real quick, but y'all are more numbers.
Yeah, it's about 10, 12% more.
Okay,
than we
so,
projected.
okay, all right. Good deal. That was my only question on that. And does that include, that does include the sports betting, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Not gaming devices. That's down a little bit further.
Okay.
So to follow up on Councilman Barrett's comments, we are projecting 2022 to be less.
Well, we're projecting 20.222 to be the gaming revenue that we'll budget October 1. We're guessing that we will receive 20.374. If we're looking at probably 2019, Diana, then we look at July and September business. That's what we were looking at, 2019, which was put us, let me back up at the highest level. 2019 was a pretty much banner year. We, based on gross gaming revenue, was $903 million.
Right.
Okay, but we had stronger months earlier than that in that 2019 year. But we looked at that 2019, couldn't compare 2020 for September, July. So we based that, so we figure like we're going to get $3 million total in gaming for in the next 2 months, pretty much.
But my question is, we're going to hit 2374 for this fiscal year when gaming and hospitality early on had a lot of restrictions with COVID.
Right.
We were handcuffed with a lot of that stuff, and that we may not be.
The last 2 months were projected off of prior to that stuff. So we looked at 2019, July and August and September months to come up with the next $3 million. I think where you're going is we're projecting 20.374 million this year, but yet we're estimating 20.2, a little bit, $100 or so thousand less, which, we could revise that, but we're still guessing. We're being conservative in this number. We don't want to plan, the revenues and expenses and be, we don't want to sandbag, but we want to be realistic.
Part of it comes from that there were additional stimulus packages this past year that will not be available next year to the citizens of that come gamble with us. Correct. And also unemployment. Some people were not working and unemployment was higher. Plus this past year we had 3 of the highest months of gaming revenue that we've had for the past 7 years. And will that trend stay? We don't know. So we took those items into consideration and factored in where we thought we would be, and it came in slightly less than where we think this year will be.
And I appreciate that, and that's logic, and I can appreciate it, but I will tell you this, because of staffing, I'm in the hospitality industry, we have reduced our inventory. In other words, we left rooms unempty, so did the gaming industry, because they didn't have enough housekeepers to clean rooms. We didn't have enough servers to turntables. And so I think there's going to be a balance of that, because if we are able to staff up in this next fiscal year, I think we can go to capacity and open up those opportunities, for more revenue.
Well, this is.
I'll tell you right now, at Margaritaville's property, we got 371 rooms there, and we cap it at 300 rooms. There's 71 rooms every night that's available, but because of staffing shortages,
Can't do it.
and we just can't service them, it would be crazy to rent those 71 rooms and not being able to clean them. And that's the same thing going on across this industry, because they just can't get the help to clean some of these rooms and get those bodies in those gaming facilities and non-gaming facilities. But just pointing it out that.
Yeah, no, there's some margin. We have some margin to adjust, especially when the next several iterations. And if we know 1 month, I mean, if we look in the month that we will be catching next, we'll have 5 full weekends in it. And which is not all the time, it happens, but you got a holiday, and in July's business that's come, it may put us in a little bit different situation.
Okay.
But those weekends are 20% more or less, so the more full, you got July 1 through all in through 30th, or that full weekend. So we just want to be conservative. We feel like that's a good number. We can increase it if it's prudent.
Okay.
I have one more question. So you said that y'all are projecting July and August as numbers off of 2019. Now, was June, I haven't seen June's numbers yet.
It was $98 million gross gaming revenue.
Was that continuing?
Good, yeah.
So if that continues, and we do continue to shatter numbers or records or whatever, that 20.374 actually could end up being higher if July and August turn out like the 3 or 4 prior months have been. Okay, all right, that's all.
But keep in mind, if it does shatter, that month, it puts us in $4 million, let's say, okay? Then that means we're catching $4 million in revenues, and it will be translated right to fund balance in general. So we're going to, it'll be reflective of that. So we'll have more fund balance to work with as we move to the next steps.
Correct, thank you.
But this is first pass, kind of deal, and 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, we'll be in a better mode to craft these numbers. But this is it.
Mr. Lawrence, you had some questions?
Yeah, I do. Gaming goes, we got July, August, and September left, correct?
No, 2 more months. We got 2 more months of collections. We will collect June we collected June revenue already. That was $98 million of gross gaming revenue.
No, so
we will collect July and August numbers by the end of fiscal year.
And that makes it 12 months.
Yeah.
Okay, then what are we actually taking in so far?
17 point.
No, what do we actually have? That's not what we actually, what have we taken in as of the 9th month to 10th month? True numbers, not.
That's the column collected.
So the true number is
17.127 million. That's right.
Okay. And that's for.
That's as of 7/9. It's of
these are true numbers, I don't want
these are actual.
Estimated, projected.
These are actual numbers. That's what it says.
Actual
Collected.
numbers.
That's what the heading says. It's the FY 2021 collected.
17,000. And that's for how many months? 17 million for how many months?
10 months.
10 months. Okay. 10 months. That's what I need to know. We don't want to go to story lane.
Any questions?
We got to deal with the real numbers.
Ask a question, Felix. Come on.
Let me ask you, hey, I ain't finished yet. You be prepared.
He raised his hand.
You got to be cool. Y'all can do a little bigger print. I got.
Yeah, I noted that.
Don't make it a little bit
I'm using
smaller.
it too.
I'm gonna find out. Still ask your question.
That was my idea. So I'll take the heat. We'll make it bigger for those who need glasses.
So these projected numbers and everything, they forecast all, this is just made up numbers on percentages.
Not made up numbers, it's
That's
forecast.
percentage you're doing, just no fact that you could collect that much money.
No, there's no facts other than
Right, I
what we
mean,
did last
so
year,
it's
and
just right.
these are accurate guesses,
So if you just
educated
add,
guesses.
if we just add the last 2 months like we did last year, it would come out to what?
20.3 million,
So that's just adding the next 2 months.
2 months.
So you got the 17, the next one would be 20.3 if it just pretty much did what it did last year for 2 more months. Okay.
Which would bump up again, about $3 million in 2 months of gross, of actually taxes collected.
And it's $3 million, it goes in our general fund?
Yeah, it's the difference between revenues and expenses. It's a cash collected, so,
And
yeah,
then what about all the percentages with the police department and fire department? How much
that's
money-
all part of the deal.
That's all part of that?
Yeah.
So what have they gained? Because that's a big.
Well, last month, I think it was like $276,000 went to public safety. Is that not right? Anyway, but that's all part of that one figure, the 17.55 collected, or 17, whatever it is. Yeah.
So I mean, that's counting the schools, that's everything included in
That
it.
doesn't include school now. That has no school collections. This is excludes what we receive and put in the general fund depository account.
But I mean, we have to pay the school system out of this too.
Yeah, but that's separate. We collect more money for that.
And the school system itself is, how much is it we give them per year? 20,
Probably-
25 million?
3 million?
How many million do we get?
Yeah, a month. It's about 270, 250, I think. 250,000 a month is what they get.
Million to the Biloxi Public Schools.
All, well, it's 2 point something percent, 2.65%.
Oh, the percentage.
Yeah, that's okay, yeah. But it's a bunch of money, 3.5, 4 million a year annually. Paul, you probably remember more than that.
I used to know, but I hadn't kept up with. For some reason, I want to say 5.5, 6 million, somewhere 5 to 6 million, somewhere in there. I may be wrong.
Last month, we paid out 1.4 million to all the schools.
That's off the game.
Annually, I don't know off the top of my head.
No, and that's not just Biloxi schools, because a small portion goes to those other schools. So, for some reason,
$631,000 last month.
so an average of 600,000 a month. That if that was a good year, would be about 7 million a year. I don't know if the school districts ever hit 7 million. So I'm going to say somewhere
Basically,
between
what
5.5 and 6.5 million.
This July distribution that we got for June business to the general fund, 1.263 million. To public safety, 0.63 million, $631,000. City schools, $631,000. County, another county schools or county school districts, and public safety is $631,000.
Is that's per year?
Now, that's per month, that's 1 month.
Months, okay.
KT, you want to make a copy of this one page right here?
Yeah, we'll take a copy of that.
You just did that one page. 1, 5.
What other questions might you have, Mr. Lawrence?
I'm thinking, relax.
I am relaxed.
No, always relax, just relax here. Don't get too excited, you don't look like Fofo.
Felix has been trying to ask a question over here. I'm worried about Felix. Any question?
We still doing a game, so I was just trying to get all the school system thing, the police department, how much we gain in these departments, which is good for the city, the police department, fire department, what we actually gaining because the revenue is up. So that helps us into our budget. That makes a difference for us to know all that. So that's what we're trying to find those things out. Because it takes all those numbers to actually, for us to put a budget together.
Yeah, and the bottom line is the bottom line. That's where we're going from. You look at the bottom, and that's what reflects of all of those revenues, and that's what we actually put what we can do in expenses and what we can do in projects. The difference between is the gain or loss in fund balance.
I guess my question I'm trying to get to is that do we give the schools 37 mills a year? Isn't it 37 point something?
43 mills a year is what we actually collect.
37 point something mil per year. That's what we give the school system. I'm just trying to say, if we gain this
$7 million a
money.
year.
No, I'm just saying, if we gain this much money, maybe there's any way we can reduce some of this stuff, where the city can keep more money. You know, we pay all the bills. We're the ones that put all the money up, pay all the bills. I don't know if that's the law. We set that, don't, or that's set by law. Peter, you know that?
What is that, the revenue to the schools?
Yeah.
That's set by statute when gaming was a
Statute.
Gaming.
state statute related to gaming in 92, when it
No,
was.
that, I'm not talking about that money. That is set up by the state, the percentage. My point is, if we gain that much money for the school system with added gaming, then we need to look like reducing the millage so the city can fix up the city, clean up the city, pave the streets. You know, we did pay the county a ton of money, we pay the school a ton of
Sort
money.
of like an indirect kind of charge to them for things that we do for them, which is where you're going.
And this stuff was supposed to, we voted gaming in for, to help the city of Biloxi. And finally, we helping the schools and everybody else.
Katie, just the first page, Katie, just one page. It gives you an idea, just the first page.
That's my point to get to is, I'm looking for how could the city keep more all this ton of money we take in for everybody else?
Mr. Leonard, an observation?
County, everything.
Go ahead.
You remember Arnold Horshack?
Up your nose with a rubber hose, right?
So this is only my 5th year doing this, and I know most of you have been doing it more years than that, but I always like to remind myself of this is just like doing the checkbook at home. Before you start writing the bills, you want to know what your balance is. That's why we always start with revenue. Your next 3 meetings, you're going to be dealing with expenses. And you're going to be dealing with expenses with whatever that bottom line number is. That's the balance in the checkbook to start writing checks next week and the week after and the week after. That's why we always start with revenue, so we know what the balance is that we're working against.
Right. It's sort of what your paychecks are going to get. I mean, that's to make work the balance. You're going to get this revenue in, and then you pay whatever you dictate. So
Well, I was trying to,
it all gets to the balance.
Which means that unless it gets adjusted this week, we'll go into those next 2 meetings knowing that we have 67 million in the general fund to play with. That's our money to play with.
right.
And then we just deal with the game. We'll get to the added income that we received from the COVID-19, all this other money.
That's in-
we get
it's in
from
the mix.
state. Right now, we just, the first line is the gaming. That's all we're dealing with. Right now.
Right now, we're doing pretty good, and we're guessing we're going to do really good over the next 2 months as compared to what we started October 1 with. Okay?
But my point, I hope that y'all just listening, is how can we, the city, keep more money?
Well, that's another
my
question. I'm all
I'm not
for.
talking about from all the stuff, everything, everybody's gaining, but the city don't see how to
Let me
gain
let me
anything.
repeat this question. Maybe I'll repeat what you're asking me. Look at this one page. Okay, this first page. You got that? 1.3% of the gross gaming, or 3.2% of the gross gaming revenue, which was $98.7 million. The city schools gets 20% of that 3.2%, which totals $631,000, or $632,000. Your question is, how can we keep more of that?
Pretty much.
I can't answer that. I got some ideas, and I don't know whether we can do that today.
But we need to be part of some of them ideas. We need to all know this to set this budget.
So,
So any ideas you got, you need to explain that.
Well, we're setting the budget based on the law.
so the question is, can we reduce the amount of money that the school district gets?
Anybody, for us to keep more money.
Right, well, the millage for schools is set by the school board. Okay, so if they want to reduce the millage,
Yeah, we
they
put the
can.
school board in. So if we do something wrong, we get rid of the school board.
If they want
I don't think-
to increase it, they can. The percentage that the school district gets is through the statute that was approved when gaming first came in.
Legislature, that's right. 92.
That's why Harrison County Board of Supervisors gets 10% of the gaming revenue. You can't reduce what they get. You can't reduce what the Biloxi schools get. You can't reduce what the Harrison County schools get. You can't reduce, I don't believe, what the police department or the fire department gets, which leaves what goes to the city's general fund, which is what, 40%?
Yeah.
So George, if you
40% of
wanted
the
to increase that from 40% goes to the general fund to 45%, you got to have something changed at the state level,
Right.
because that's a state statute. So the more gaming goes up, the more money each of these entities gets.
Right.
You can't really do anything about that, as I see it.
Not at this meeting anyhow.
Not today. No.
I understand, and the school board has the right to get extra 7 meals every year. If they want, they can go up to 7 meals a year. They can do that. I mean, I know all the laws. I'm saying, if they collect that much money, it's about time for us to figure out how we, the city, who pays all the bills, just like MGM Park, don't get nothing back. We collect the money. We created the money. We got to take care of the citizens. So, yeah, I'm not saying anything against the school. I'm just saying it's time for the city to figure out how they can keep more money. I'm going to get a ton of money to the county. What's that, 25 million a year? I mean, we give a ton of money to a lot of people. You know who keeps the least amount? The city of Biloxi. So it's time for us to step up so we can take care of paving the street, hire somebody to clean up the street. Coming across the bridges in the interstate right now, it's about as dirty looking town as you can get into. But we got to be able to collect and keep more money so we can do that. And that's what we need to look at. There's got to be some way the city can help itself. Pretty much what I'm looking for. Next.
All right, Mr. Guines, were you done, Mr. Lawrence?
On gaming.
Okay. Mr. Guines?
Damon. Yeah, I just had a few small questions. I didn't see in here, I know last year we talked about reimbursement money from COVID-19.
That's it.
And looking through here, did we incur or did we put in for or did we receive any reimbursements through COVID-19?
Yeah,
I know we had some areas, but I just didn't see it, or maybe I overlooked it. I'm just not kind of looking over it now.
The fourth line down is other grants.
Okay, there we go.
You see other grants? We had budgeted other grants to be in some of the loss that we had anticipated October 1 because of COVID was 1.3 million.
Okay.
Then the CARES Act said we're going to get 11 million, but you're going to get 5.5 right off the top. We did get $1 million for COVID, so that's why you see the 6.5 in that figure.
Gotcha.
Now, we're trying to say, what are we going to get next year? We're going to get a 5.5. Was it 5.3? What is it? 5.549 over in the second grade column there.
Okay, cool.
So that's going to be the second installment for the CARES Act, part of the $11 million that's coming.
It's coming. Okay, great.
Now, okay, but along those lines, I mean, this is not in any of these figures at this point, but I had a conversation with the Lieutenant Governor yesterday, and we talked about water, sewer, CARES, COVID kind of stuff. They've got $1.8 billion to provide for water, sewer, storm drain kinds of projects. We have about $20 million in projects, as I told Lieutenant Governor yesterday morning. And that will be another line item, but it will be for water, sewer projects. That's coming.
Cool.
Have y'all requested that money?
What?
Have you requested that money already?
We haven't requested. We don't know how much that we're going to get. We've got 10 or so projects that about $20 million worth of water sewer projects that we're going to push forward. And that's, as we talked about, and there's some things we were successful in Washington we got notice of yesterday too. But that won't be in this general fund. It will be in water sewer.
Right. And what is the fund you going after? What do they call it? Where you getting money from?
Water, just COVID infrastructure or infrastructure COVID, what CARES Act, I guess?
COVID related.
Yeah. CARES Act infrastructure.
Gotcha. And I was just curious about the Homeland Security, the Police Department bomb grant. I see it here 3 different times. Are these like 3 different times that we applied for it? Okay, so you just kind of spread them out instead of grouping them all at once.
Specific grants.
Grants that they applied for.
Specific grants that they applied for, yeah.
Okay. And we anticipate getting all 3 next year?
Yeah.
We are applying for one for $100,000.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you. That concludes my report.
A few things. About 7 or 8 lines down, solid waste user charge. We're looking at a reduction of about $130,000. I'm assuming that's because there's a reduced number of users, or what accounts for that reduction?
Yeah, the $131,000, they're based on actually accounts go.
Last year, when we calculated the revenue generated, we did it based on cost per house, and we were off a little bit in our calculation, and we're trending more towards the 2.4. We're still working with the HCUA on getting this year's numbers to be able to calculate that figure. So right now, we just have it based on where we think 2021 is going to shake out.
Okay, so it's a more accurate calculation, basically. Okay. The next item is down maybe 5 or 6 items from that, ABC permits. We're looking at a reduction of about 50,000. I'm assuming because COVID restrictions are listed, less people are drinking. Kidding.
That's right.
It's a product availability at the
Okay,
moment.
gotcha. Well, that's true. Okay, thank you. Then maybe a third of the way down, there's an item titled Public Facilities, ComDev, Community Development, and you're looking at a reduction of about $90,000 there. I'm not sure, I'm just not sure what public facilities, community development.
There's been a change in where the Civic Center Biloxi Library is going to be coded. In this current year, it's under community development in the month of July.
Okay.
We changed it to under Parks and Recs. So if you, it's just a switch between two
That's a
items.
change in coding. Thank you. Then probably 8 or 9 items down from that, there's rent Old Biloxi Library, LB2, and there's a reduction of about 36,000. I know that there's a tenant, I think we're working on a contract with a tenant downstairs, but that's not included here, is it, or is it?
Probably included because we included some of the rent potential for the capital repair that they're putting. Is that not right?
Well, initially, it was budgeting both floors to one line item, and then when we got the second tenant, we split it out, and there's an LB1 and an LB2.
Oh, I see. That is
I
LB2.
got you.
Okay.
LB1 is further down.
Okay. And then below that is, the next item is prior year tax. There's a reduction of about 140,000. And I just need a definition for prior year tax.
It's prior year taxes that are collected in the current year, and the Isle of Capri filed a property tax appeal, and I believe we're in our 3rd year and final year of that payback or adjustment.
Gotcha. Then one last item, maybe a dozen items down from there, you have the Cable One franchise tax, and that's projected to be down about 46,000. I know that we no longer have Cable One. I know that's Sparklight, but is there an explanation for the reduction in the projected revenue of about 46,000?
Is that the one that has ND 520 next to it that you're referring?
Yes.
We give a part to B News, and then the rest goes into the Cable One franchise tax, and the part that's going to B News is less than what we had predicted last year.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I think also that franchise fee is on cable services only, and those services have been trending down as people are cutting the cord.
For cable.
If you go up, Paul, it's probably 12 to 15 down. That is the major Cable One franchise tax.
But that franchise tax is on cable TV.
Correct. And then we give
not
a portion
internet
of
equipment
that
or
to
internet.
news.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, where is that?
It's budgeted for 225,000. So if you just come down and go across, you'll see it.
Okay.
That's the main cable franchise tax. The
I
one
gotcha.
you just referenced is the part that goes to B News.
Okay, got it. All right, that explains it. All right. All right, any other questions, Mr. Lawrence?
Yeah. Peter, on this, the rent, is that's supposed to be, are we supposed to be adjusting it per year on the rent for the waterfront? The 3 million, the 2.9. Is that supposed to be like an increase, or we're not changing that?
The CPI for the
Rent.
Golden Nugget rent?
Yeah.
No, the court decision on that was that 20 years ago, whatever, when the settlement was reached, that the city acknowledged that we were not going to get any CPI. That CPI is applied, but then it goes and is split 3 ways. It's part of the 3-way split. So that 3.2 is a flat rate, and all sums after that is split 3 ways.
And what about the Biloxi shipyard, that piece of property? What are we doing with that one? That's not, nobody pays anything for that?
Right, I think we've had some preliminary discussions on what to do with that property. We get the first
352.
$352,000, so,
But we're not receiving any money for that?
No.
no.
Okay. The other one is, other revenues, where does $1.5 million come from? It says other than revenues.
Other revenue.
$1 million, whatever it is, 5.9, we collected one, so we collecting that from where? Who's actually paying us other revenues?
Other revenue, 1.594, other revenue, 489.
That's the administration fee that the general fund charges.
Say again?
It's the administration fee that the general fund charges to the water and port funds.
Indirect costs for them.
So we charge it against them,
Yeah, and they pay it monthly. They've been paying it monthly.
and that's strictly the.
That's based on their operations. It's their enterprise funds, and they pay us an indirect fee or management, or all the things we do for them.
Other prize we have is the harbor. Do we get anything off the harbor?
Well, that's the fee that those employees and water and sewer operation pays to the city for what, the things that we do, payroll and administration and all that. That's 1.5 million a year, and that's what it was last year. Yeah. And it's based on a formula.
Based on revenue.
They're just trying to pay it out, because we might do better just contracting out the harbors, because right now they're just a mess and not run right, nothing good about them. So, sometimes we need to look at, it's time to change things. They're not working, just like the court system. It's not working. You spend a ton of money, it's not working. So we need to look at doing something different. I'm not going to keep throwing money at something that's not working.
But let me say something. When you say it's not working, okay, that's something, that's another subject. We'll go in detail on when it's not working, because those things are doing what they need to do. They're making money. And that's when you say not working. It could be working better. I agree. And that's what you're saying. When you say it's not working, that's not correct. You look at the fund balance each month, like I do, and you can see it. If it was not working, that would be going the other way, but it's not. So we can do better. I agree. But to say, it's not working, that's incorrect.
It's not working, but you can't put out $1 million.
That's incorrect.
You can't put out $1.5 million and collect $400,000 say it's working. Something's wrong. Something broken. So I'll be happy to go over in detail and look at what your perception is. Adjust it. Okay. It's time to adjust these things. It's just not. It's not working to its perfection. Let's put it that way. You could do a lot.
Could be better.
It could be way better. But I'm not going to sit there and keep throwing money.
Well, it's incorrect to say it's not working.
Well, it's not working good for the city. When you lose over $1 million a year, that's not good for the city. Just like the ballpark, you're losing $1 million a year for the ballpark. That's not good for us. Not good for the citizens.
Let me speak to that too, because I was trying to determine why did it go from $1 million to $500,000. And one thing David sent me today is the citations from 5 years ago. There's half as many citations and arrests being made. So we're drilling down into what is that? Are those more DUIs? Are there less speeding tickets being given? But if you give less tickets, you're going to receive less money. I think the collection and the assessment of the penalties, I think have been constant, but I think it may be there are less tickets being issued. But we're going to drill down on what were the citations before and what are they now.
Either that or judge is letting people walk.
Well, this is arrest.
You can find that out. You should know that.
Well, these are arrests. These are before you get into court. So that doesn't have anything to do with the judge.
You can't just charge people for nothing and let them go. They do anything they want. No, can't pay. Have to do that. That's what I'm saying. So you got to look at what's happening.
Look at it.
And why it's happening.
Uber and ride sharing probably has taken a toll. There are less DUIs because more people take rides rather than driving. But we're going to look at the data on that.
No, Peter, what they did is stay home and drink. They stayed at the house and drank. They just didn't leave the house. So
Fill up
you
our
can't
ABC
get arrested if you don't leave the house.
Yeah.
Bring more bills up our ABC numbers.
And these fees on the Coast Electric, the power company, Intex, these a set rates, never change?
Those are statutory like franchise fees. They're based on a percentage of their sales. And with Coast Electric, it's based on their substations and their assessed property. Mississippi Power is in the same boat there.
So we've seen they have a lot of power underground stuff with Intex and that. So do we get that money back when they cause all these problems, break these gas lines? Who handles all that? Would the city has to handle it and pay for it themselves? Like they dig in something, they break the gas line, like the other day to shut down Seal. Who's responsible for that?
The contractor.
The contractor that did it? And did we collect the money from them?
Yeah, we do. It's a case-by-case situation, but we've, that's part of their agreement. They agree to fix those things. We've billed them in the past. They've paid them in the past. If it's a large enough settlement, we bring that before the council to approve, but, yeah, that occurs. They haven't had a major gas, line destruction, I don't think in the last year.
17, I think they went through the, when they were doing their, Intex was doing their 8-inch gas main, they went right through a forced sewer main, Division Street and Calvert Street. And I think Jimmy Lane was contracted and was paid by them to correct that.
When it's community court, this is the people that's violation.
Yeah.
We had it listed like
And that was
21,000. We already collected 21, 2754.
Yeah, that really should be kind of combined with courts from here. That's a court.
That's actually a brand new item.
That's it.
Line item, correct?
That's a separate line item, yeah. And it's down 45,000, what is it, Diana? Community court.
Yeah, community court was not really,
Part of
it's
last-
just been started in the last year to get up and running, and
That's,
we had budgeted 1,000, and so far we've collected 21,000. And we're
Projecting
projecting to collect 45,000.
yeah.
So in that case, we have one judge,
Yes.
and everybody works for under the rest of them. You have to have a secretary. You have to have what else? This is separate from the court that you do,
No, she's under me as well.
and this money goes to the general fund.
She's one of the judges you voted against last week.
Do what?
She's one of the judges you voted against, but
She's
she's
against all of them.
our community court judge.
I don't have no problem doing that. That's our
But
job.
she does not need a secretary. She operates out of community court and deals with all the code enforcement, and has been doing a good job.
Might mention too, we had 2 part-time judges instead of 2 full-time judges too. That's some of the moves we made over the last couple of years.
Right, and we have one of the prosecutors comes over and as part of his flat fee, he handles community court as well.
This interest in investment is what?
Investments on.
The decline from 210 to 20?
Say again?
Are you questioning the decline from 210 to 20?
Says down the interest in investment, 210,000.
Correct. We had a larger fund balance before we paid off that $2.8 million loan, and then COVID hit, and we're still trying to build up our reserves, so our interest on our bank accounts is not as much this year.
Okay.
I'm going to move to Mr. Glavin. I know he has a question, then we'll come back to Mr. Lawrence.
Yeah, so ad valorem tax, we're projecting $342,000 and some change over.
Right.
Is that correct?
Right.
Yes.
Can you tell me what that increase entails? You know, why have we increased that by that amount?
Assessed valuation is increased.
This is a reassessment year.
So this 342 is based on reevaluations?
Assessed valuations, based on assessed valuation, but there has been an increase in assessed valuation, things that have come online. And
got
some
you.
of the things that come on after abatements too.
So
So
here's-
in general, the assessors gives us an idea. The last couple of years, there's like 2.3% increase in assessed valuation.
Okay.
But it's a
so-
reassessment. Every 4 years, they're supposed to reassess.
Yes, sir. All right, so that makes sense, and I see that. So my question is, we have some of these tax abatements coming off. Where are those increases at, or where do we see
in that
those
figure.
coming back? Because I thought it was like close to $1 million a year that was coming back to us, or
Well, I think we had some
somewhere in
last
that
year.
neighborhood.
Some last year, and that we, at the last, couple of iterations, we put it in, but some of it's all factored in. That's why, I was thinking more it's going to be like a 3% year, but actually 4.4 is what was.
Can I ask that you check into that and just see if that's been accounted
What's
for in
based
these
on, yeah.
revenue figures? And maybe we can get a follow-up and an update on that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Barrett?
My own, two real quick questions. What was our original proposed budget amount? Because this says revised for 2021.
I think we had increased the revenue projection by about $600,000. If you look at just at the bottom line,
It's 61,459,000. So originally, when we did this last year, we were around 60?
yeah.
Okay. And then one other question, what is our projected surplus at the end of this year that we will roll over?
We haven't really done that at this point, but we will in the next few weeks. Fund balance, the rollover, which we're looking
Okay.
at.
What is that right now? Do we have that?
Well, I know what it is in the general fund, but it's not reflective.
Okay, yeah, it won't reflect what our, because there's stuff on
Well,
account.
let me take a minute, because I want to tell you one thing. This is,
I just know usually we roll over around $4 million or so, or we have been. Correct. Yeah, and that's the number I'm referring to is the,
All right,
I'm just saying, so we have, if we're looking, we have a $6 million, overage of, just off of projected, that's not counting what, we will have in our cash balance that we roll over.
balance sheet.
Okay.
So don't go charter at a jet or anything. But at the beginning of the year, in October 1, our beginning balance was 8.791885, 8.7 million.
8,700,000 basically.
Yeah, that was what we began the year with.
Okay.
All right, our balance at this point as of 7/2 is 18.362 million.
But that is, some of that is going to
Well,
be.
we've got, yeah, absolutely, 5 million of it, plus another a million or so that came in. That's in the cash, that's reflective in the cash. But the gain or loss, we went from 8 million to 18 million. So at this point in time now, we haven't put, we got 6 more payrolls to do, about,
5.
which, okay. So the gain or loss, the gain in the year that was 9.7 million right now. So we got to
So
finish.
that will roll over to,
Yeah.
to what, so we're projecting a $6 million overage. So whatever our couch balance is at the end of September will roll over. And so we'll be projecting more like a $14 million overage. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm trying to say that we'll probably 6 million or so more if we play to the numbers.
Okay.
It will probably, plus the $2 million in increase in gaming that we didn't plan on, hopefully, that $111 million a month, it gave us a shot in the arm. But this balance sheet, and you know the numbers that I'll look at, so I'll expect that to go down, but I don't expect it to go down much less than 6 million.
Okay, and then one other question, and I don't have any more on this. When will the revenue numbers come in for casinos for July?
For July will be September, or August something, by August
August 10th.
10th.
August 10th, okay. So depending on what that is, we could even if it blows it out the water and we get close to this 2021 forecasted revenue just off of July, we could possibly
Well, if we
adjust the
do,
budget.
this is
Okay.
reflective, and there's no reason, this one piece of paper will kind of tell you where we're gonna be. Look at that figure down here, that hits the general fund, which comes in on the 10th, okay?
Where am I looking? I'm sorry, okay, I got it.
On this page, you see, total city of Biloxi general fund for 1 month, 2.081. So we got 2 more opportunities to do that.
Okay, let me see.
Next to Lex, no. Here, Nate. Next to Lex.
Right in the middle of the page.
I see it, I got it right here. Perfect, okay. That's all I have.
I have a question. Last year, when we did that big massive cleanup, and I know we had to, all that big debris cleanup.
Borrow the money to make.
Borrow money.
Yeah.
Right. I don't see that in here, and were we reimbursed for that?
No,
yet?
we've got that, so receivable that we were asking for. We're expecting 2.9 million, I think it was approved from FEMA. We went and borrowed up to 10 million.
Right.
And paid this out, so we still got a payable, about a loan, okay?
Gotcha.
And we're expecting 2.9 million and maybe more, 3?
Yeah, that's just federal.
That's just the federal stuff, so that's coming, that's not that's not a revenue, it's a receivable and a payable.
Gotcha.
How much
Gotcha.
did you actually use out of the 10 million?
7, 8 million? What did we borrow?
We're in like 5.5.
5.5 million.
5.5, okay.
We had a credit line of 11, and it was the idea as it came in, we would pay it all, pay it down. I think we paid it one down. Did we pay one interest?
not paid
No, okay.
I said I know half the money went to pretty much to cleanup.
Correct.
And that would probably cost us $5 million or so just to have cleanup, but we had to pay the contractor. So
We paid all the contracts. All the contractors are paid.
Contracts are safe.
when you get the money in, you just put it in and reduce the note.
To pay off the note.
To pay off the note.
Yeah, we have not received that money, though.
Gotcha.
So that you have not received any of the 5, say, million, whatever it is.
Anything that we've submitted for reimbursement has not been received yet. It's been approved at the FEMA level, they hadn't drilled it down from MEMA at this point.
Yeah, 'cause that was I looked at the bottom on the 2 hurricanes, Zeta and Sally. Oh, yeah. Must have a lot more money coming in for.
Yeah, well, hopefully, that's, again, that's a receivable if you look at it from a business standpoint. We're going to get that money back. We borrowed it, we'll be out the interest in probably 1% or 2.25% of whatever we pay. We'll have to, pay that out as interest as it swings out.
Do you have any idea how much money we have claims to get from FEMA?
6 million or so?
Yeah, she said 5 point something, almost 6 million.
You must have other claims. Do we have any other claims?
No, we got claims every day with all the infrastructure projects. There's some trap funds of about $1 million so that are projects that, as closeout comes, we'll give that back. That's that number that you asked Walt about everything. Those are FEMA claims that we received.
I was talking to Mike about the MGM Park, the school board is like $1 million. I think they have to reimburse you, FEMA or MEMA.
We had some insurance coverage, so whatever insurance covers backs off the FEMA claim.
Right, we're still fighting the insurance claim issue.
Making insurance claims too.
But the full value of the repairs was put into the FEMA portal.
Ask, yeah.
They're just, at some point, we're gonna have to tell them how much insurance we got paid, and they'll deduct that from the amount that's claimed.
Just like they did with Katrina. Whatever we received, that's off the top, and then they.
But we're in this dispute with the insurance company right now.
I think we having trouble with some of the lights, big light poles in it. I mean, that's gonna be another claim. I know they're going off of all that with Zeta. I don't know. They go off, half of them go off would have something short amounts, I would say all that's from the hurricane, just like the school board.
Yep.
Take water, well, especially bad water like that. Does any other thing happen to the stadium that we have to repair?
I'm not sure. I think they did give us something.
Hey, I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think, the beer shed and some of the other things, the batting eye, and I can't,
Some of the stuff they paid,
some of them they paid to get open.
not part of the physical, not the stuff that we get insured.
Right.
you.
And Sally, do you have anything else for Sally?
No, I think we closed out Sally, then we got all Sally money. We've already received that. Nothing anticipated in this revenue.
In the little tropical expression, do we have any claims against any of those? The boardwalk, the sand beach. Used to be one. I mean, it looks like that's all we caught from those. They put all the sand all over the highway and stuff like that. We gotta clean it up.
No, the stuff that we've done in, that MDOT and Sand Beach hadn't done, I'm not sure. Whether we clean up or anything like that. But we have actually claimed all our force account labor that we did for Zeta cleanup, and equipment we used based on rates. So Tanya did a good job in putting that stuff together.
All right. That's it until we check it out some more.
All right.
For me, anyway.
We'll make the print bigger for you.
Like I said, just shoot me your mic. Anything else, Mr. Lawrence?
It's all on this right now.
Okay, I don't know that anybody else has any questions. There are a couple of things I just want to mention to the council. Councilman Newman has requested that we move our 11 o'clock budget workshops times. We have two more. She's requested that we move them to 1 o'clock or later. And when we're having these, we've got them all lined up on Tuesdays. I prefer we keep the times as they are. We discussed it at the last council meeting. She's requesting that, Kenny, you have a conflict on what
August.
on the August meeting. And we've got, our next budget workshop is scheduled for next Tuesday at 11. And,
I'm like, if you want to move to 1 o'clock and get the other two councilmen here, all 7 people should be at this meeting.
right, well, it's gonna,
1 o'clock to do it, fine.
well, if we move it to 1 o'clock, we have a council meeting at 1:30 on those dates, so I don't think we're gonna be able to do much about departments in half an hour. I'm thinking that it would be immediately following the council meeting. Is that good with everybody? If everybody's comfortable with that?
Whatever works,
You're good.
I'm open, whatever works for everybody else. I'm game.
I just agree, we need more than 30 minutes for sure.
Sure. So basically then the practical thing to do would be to move these budget workshops on council days from 11 in the morning until immediately following the council meeting. Is that what you want to do? If so, then people have to revise deadlines and times.
Have with, I think it's the 27th, is that correct? Is that's MML?
No, we're not meeting on the 27th.
Okay.
Okay. Here are the dates we're looking at. Next Tuesday is scheduled for 11 o'clock. We have a 1:30 council meeting. Excuse me. Yeah, next Tuesday. 2 weeks after that, Tuesday, August 3rd, we're meeting at 4 o'clock. That's good because it's a night meeting. And then Tuesday, August 10th, we're scheduled at 11 o'clock, and we're talking about moving that to after the council meeting. Is everybody good with that on that day?
So next week, we're not going to do it after the council meeting?
So next week, which is the 20th, if we move it, it would have to be moved to after the council meeting. Everybody's good with that. Most of us are good with that. All right, and then on August 10th, instead of 11 o'clock in the morning, that would follow the regularly scheduled council meeting at 1:30. Most of us are comfortable with that. So I'll make a note. I'll get the clerks to send you a revised calendar.
After the meeting.
So next week, July 20th, we meet after the council meeting. Okay, and then again on Tuesday, August 10th, we'll be covering non-departmental budgets and insurance. We're looking at meeting immediately after that council meeting, which is scheduled for 1:30. So that's what we'll do.
Take a little break and then do it, that's fine.
Okay, I'll get everybody an email on that. There's one other thing, and I'd mentioned this to the mayor. Next week, we'll meet after the scheduled council meeting, and we're going to be covering the departmental budgets for police, fire, community development, administration, executive, and the legislative departments. And my thinking was if the administration could get us those proposed figures, say by the end of today or first thing tomorrow morning, I could distribute those to the council members. And if the council members would just get me any questions you have, look at it for a couple of days, get me any questions you have, let's say by Friday around noon, then I'd compile them all and send them to the administration. That way they'd know what questions you have. You'd be able to look at the numbers for a few days. And when we got together after the council meeting next Tuesday, they'd be prepared to answer those questions. Now, there may be a question or two that occurred to you over the weekend. That's fine. We understand that. But after looking at these documents for a day or two, get them to me. I'll just compile the questions you have and send them to the administration. They can work on the answers or tweak them. Beg your pardon?
Department head, they're gonna be here so we can talk to them directly?
I would assume the department heads are here. They always have been. But if the administration can do that, just get me something by the end of business today, as soon as possible. But by the end of the day, I'll forward that to the council members. What I need from the council members is just, hey, look at it Thursday and Friday morning, then get me the questions you have about Friday at noon. I'll compile them. That way the administration can be working on those questions for you. Okay, if we'll do that. All right, the last thing is I just need to see Mr. Glavin and Mr. Lawrence just for a moment after this meeting, just talk about insurance stuff. All right, is there anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Excuse me, a motion to recess. There's a motion by Mr. Barrett, second by Mr. Glavin. Any discussion? All in favor of recessing? Thank you. That's a 5-0 vote. Thank you.